Welcome, dear esteemed viewer. In this story, we shall be looking at the war which Absalom waged against his father, David, after usurping authority. Meanwhile, if you've not subscribed to our channel, please endeavor to do so. Also, like the video and share it with your loved ones. Let's take off. After seizing power from his father David, Absalom sat on the throne in Jerusalem. But even as he looked like a king, he still faced one big problem. David was alive and on the run. Now, it was time to make a decision. Should Absalom chase David and finish him off, or wait and build his army? So, Absalom sought counsel from Ahithophel, saying,
Ahithophel, what do you suggest we do next?
Ahithophel responded,
Let me choose 12,000 men and go after David tonight. He's tired and discouraged. I'll strike quickly, kill only him, and bring back all the people to you. Then everyone will follow you as king.
Absalom and the elders liked this plan. It was fast, sharp, and effective. But something tugged at Absalom's heart. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was God. Either way, he wanted a second opinion. So, he also sought Hushai's opinion, saying,
Call Hushai. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hushai walked in, bowing respectfully. He saw the tension in the room. Absalom relayed to him Ahithophel's counsel thus.
Ahithophel wants to chase David tonight. What do you think?
Now, remember, Hushai was secretly loyal to David. He was planted in Jerusalem to confuse Absalom and buy David time. So Hushai gave his own counsel, contrary to that of Ahithophel, saying,
This time, Ahithophel's advice isn't good. You know your father. He's a mighty warrior, angry and alert, like a bear robbed of her cubs. He won't be spending the night with the people. He's hiding in some cave or valley. If your men attack and fall, people will say, Absalom's army is losing. That will crush morale. Here's what I suggest. Gather all Israel, from Dan to Beersheba, thousands upon thousands, and go in with overwhelming force. You yourself should lead the charge. We'll crush David and his men like dew on the ground.
Absalom and the leaders looked at each other. They liked what they heard. It sounded grand and victorious. So Absalom, nodding, responded.
Hushai's plan sounds better. We'll go with his advice.
But what Absalom didn't know was that this delay would save David's life. As soon as Hushai left the palace, he rushed to send word to David. He told two priests, Zadok and Abiathar, who had stayed in Jerusalem to help David. He whispered to them,
Tell David to cross the Jordan River tonight. Don't wait. He's in serious danger.
The message was passed to two young messengers, Jonathan and Ahimaaz. But before they could deliver the warning, someone saw them and told Absalom. They ran and hid in a well in a woman's courtyard. The woman covered the well with a cloth and scattered grain on top to hide it. When Absalom's soldiers arrived there, they asked her sternly,
Where are the men?
The woman pointed calmly and responded,
They've crossed the brook.
The soldiers searched, but found nothing. So they returned to Jerusalem, and the messengers came out of hiding. Jonathan said to Ahimaaz,
Let's go. We have to reach David now.
They rushed to David and warned him. That same night, David and all his people crossed the Jordan River to safety. Meanwhile, back in Jerusalem, Ahithophel saw that Absalom had rejected his advice, and he knew the truth. His plan was the only one that would have worked. He went home, put his affairs in order, and took his own life. His story ended in silence and sorrow. God had protected David once again, this time around, not through swords or armies, but through wisdom, loyalty, and brave messengers. David looked up at the starry sky, thoughtful and grateful. Sometimes, God's rescue comes not in the loud and flashy moments, but in the quiet decisions, the hidden helpers, and the wise delays. When God is on your side, Even the smartest enemy plans can fail. Trust his timing. Walk in wisdom. He sees what we can't see. After years of turmoil, King David found himself in a heartbreaking position. His own son, Absalom, has risen against him. The nation of Israel was divided. David had fled Jerusalem, heartbroken, but now it's time to fight for the kingdom and for peace. In David's camp in Mahanaim, early in the morning, David's soldiers gathered around, readying for battle. David stood before his generals and instructed them, saying,
I will divide the army into 3 groups. Joab will lead one, Abishai another, and Ittai the third.
Joab responded respectfully,
You must not go out with us, my king. If something happens to you, it would be far worse than if any of us fall.
David replied, saying,
Very well. I will stay back, but deal gently with the young man Absalom, for my sake.
David's heart was not on the battle. It was on his son. In the forest of Ephraim, trees thick, terrain rough, the armies of David and Absalom clashed violently. The battle swept into the forest. David's men fought bravely, and the forest itself seemed to turn against Absalom's army. That day, 20,000 men fell. The trees, the cliffs, and the rough ground claimed more lives than swords did. Suddenly, his hair snagged in the low branches of a large oak tree. As Absalom fled, his beautiful long hair, his pride, became his downfall. Caught in an oak tree, he was left dangling, unable to free himself, while his mule ran on. A soldier saw Absalom and rushed to Joab and reported, saying,
I saw Absalom. He's hanging in a tree.
Joab retorted gruffly at him.
Why didn't you strike him down?
The soldier answered,
I wouldn't harm the king's son. We all heard what David said, how he begged us not to hurt his son.
Joab replied angrily.
I won't waste time like you.
Ignoring David's command, Joab took 3 spears and thrust them into Absalom's heart while he still lived in the tree. 10 of Joab's armor-bearers joined in, finishing him. Joab's soldiers threw Absalom's body into a pit in the forest and piled stones over it. Absalom, the prince who had rebelled, died alone in the woods, far from the palace he had wanted to rule. Joab then turned to a messenger and told him,
Run and tell the king what you have seen.
But Ahimaaz eagerly volunteered, saying,
Let me go, too.
Joab refused, saying,
You're too kind-hearted. The king won't take this news well. So, don't go to deliver this message.
But Ahimaaz insisted, and he ran by a faster path, reaching David before the official messenger. At the city gate, David waited anxiously, eyes scanning the horizon. A watchman saw 2 runners and said to David,
I see 2 persons running towards us, and one of them runs like Ahimaaz, son of Zadok.
David, hopeful, said,
He's a good man. He must bring good news.
Ahimaaz arrived, but could only report in an uncoordinated manner. Bowing, he said,
All is well. God has delivered you.
David asked him intensely.
But what of the young man, Absalom?
Ahimaaz replied hesitantly.
There was a great commotion, and I did not see what happened.
The second messenger arrived. Bowing low, he said,
May all who rise against you meet the fate of that young man.
By this, David knew that Absalom had gone, and he wept bitterly, saying,
Oh, my son Absalom. My son Absalom. If only I had died instead of you. Oh, Absalom, my son, my son.
David's cries filled the palace. Victory had come, but it felt like a terrible loss. David sat alone, head in his hands. Though David's army had won, his heart was broken. He loved his son, even when his son turned against him. This story reminds us that love and pain often walk side by side. David's deep sorrow shows us the heart of a father, longing for reconciliation, even after betrayal. And it also teaches us pride, like Absalom's, can lead to downfall, but mercy and humility can open the door to peace. Recall that, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God." Matthew 5, verse 9. So pursue peace, if possible, with all men. Romans 12, verse 18. Do not make yourself an agent of violence, as it may consume your life. For whatever a man sows, that he shall reap also. Galatians 6, verse 7. Stay humble, cherish peace, and never underestimate the depth of a father's love.